What's good, everybody, and welcome to a Friday edition of the Listen Up podcast. It is your boy Brandon.
This is your boy Sam.
Hey, man, I see Sam. I hear the glass already clinking, man. So you already know it's Friday. Sam ready to get this weekend started. Same. I ain't gonna lie to you. I already got this weekend a little bit started, But Sam, man, how you feeling? First of all,
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Excited to talk about a little football. Oh man, I dropped the So It Was Next episode this morning. We talked about NBA, a lot of Zion talk, a lot of who we think gonna win the NBA. How the playoffs looking. Some of my favorite TV shows and some other little what's not. Nikki, it's hilarious. So y'all make sure
always.
y'all check that out. I'm gonna try to cut it up and spice it up into like 30-minute episodes. So, if you haven't watched it, you just want to watch certain segments, I'm gonna just drop those segments to the YouTube. So anyway, what's going on with you though?
Nothing, man. Baby life, work, all that good stuff. Ain't
Mm-hmm.
much, ain't much working baby, man. That's the life. Work baby and trying to figure out I realize when you have a 17-year-old and a newborn, it's like basically it's the same. They cost you the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like both of them costing you the same. It's just at different times. My son had hit me up with my car broke. I need, $2,000. The $2,000 kind of balances out over the sun. You know what I mean? Just between diapers, wipes, and everything else, you end up spending a lot. But man, outside of that, man, life is great, man. Life is great.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. That is what's up, man. So, where you want to start at, man?
I mean, spring game tomorrow, yeah.
Are you going?
No, man, I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna
No.
make it. I want to. No, man, I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna make it. I
Um.
realized as I was, and this, I guess we'll dive into it. I'm not excited to see anything, and that's what kind of led to. Like, I like football as much as the next person. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure what to make of the spring game. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, well, I expect this team to be good, right? So
Right.
nothing that I'm gonna see tomorrow in the spring game, aside from like an injury or something, is really gonna change my opinion on whether or not I believe this team is good, right? I think
Right.
you have some position battles that I'm very intrigued about. I'll check them out. I think you have you're secure at areas that you've never been in. There's spring games I've really been like, I don't know who's going to be the quarterback, what running back's going to emerge, who's going to. But at this point, you pretty much have a set team. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
outside of a few position groups, your quarterback is set, your running back rotation is set, your wide receivers are pretty much set. Maybe somebody can, step up and make a couple plays. Your offensive line is set. You have so many different positions where all of them are set to where I'm like, it's good football. I watch it, but I mean, I ain't gonna be able to make it, man.
Yeah, I think when you have a good football team, especially when you turn a lot of people, you expect to have a good season. I think
Mm-hmm.
this is the type of offseason you kind of have. It's kind of boring. You know what I'm saying?
Very
It's
much.
supposed to be a boring offseason when you have a good football team. And I think this team is going to be really good next year. So, but I do think some of the main things I want to see is I would actually love for Mike to actually have a real spring game. The
He
last
not.
couple of years, it's been like one quarter and y'all can watch a bunch of special teams, and that's like a lot of the reason why I'm really not going to the game because I don't really want to see special teams and red zone work. You know what I'm saying?
It's a glorified practice. It's yeah,
Yeah.
it's a glorified practice. I mean, I even noticed it in one of the same. I'm gonna let you finish, but I noticed that same thing in the NFL. I went to season ticket holders. The Jaguars get uh preview to one of the practice. It was just it was a glorified practice. I've seen the same thing for free. You know what I mean
Right.
at the stadium. So it's not really much. And again, this is a good problem. Not having a reason to go to the spring game because like your team feels like it's gonna be good is one of those
Right.
good problems. You know what I mean? It's one of those good problems. So no, but go ahead, man.
No, I was just saying. I don't think we'll get to see a whole lot. So, but I am interested to see like the running backs, some of the defensive backs matching up on some of these wide receivers, especially young guys. Uh, Ben Jacobs. I can't wait to see Venarius Jacobs and
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little Hakeem. Even though from what I heard was like Hakeem is which that was a knock on him coming out of high school where it's going to take him time to develop. He's a big wide receiver, so these big wide receivers,
Hmm.
it takes a little bit, it takes them a lot, it takes them a long time. It takes them a time to develop. Like Johnny Wilson was good last year for the first time. That was just what, third year in
In his career.
college.
Yeah.
Yeah, third year in college. So it takes big
Well, the
receivers. And I
same thing with
remember
Kelvin Benjamin.
Kevin Benjamin took 3 years. So guys that's 6'5" like that, it normally, unless they're special, Julio Jones, AJ
Hmm.
Green, them type of guys, you
Right,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
It normally takes him a little time. So I heard it's taking him a little bit of time to develop. So I don't expect a lot of great things out of him this year, actually. But I think his upside is still high. So, it'd be cool to see what he looks like now and compare notes when you get to next year and see what it look like next year when you're really going to be depending on him. Um, I think I see Todd Pope put tight ends. I am fascinated to see Jaheim Bell and Kyle Murlock. I am because I do think they're gonna be the key in the offense this year.
I'm honestly more fascinated to see them against LSU than I am to see them in the spring. Like I believe both of them can play, but I
Right.
don't believe Mike is going to give away how that's going to look because I don't think you might even see in the spring game a two tight end set. But we know what Mike likes to do, and based on what Mike likes to do, you're going to be more than
Mm,
likely to see some two tight ends. You know what I mean? You got two really good tight ends, big bodies, pass catching wide receivers, and you have three really good running backs or two really good running backs and maybe a possible. You know what I mean? So now I'm saying if I'm Mike Norvell, I'm not giving away nothing, and that's why again when I look at the spring game, it's a good boring. Like I'm happy to see football, but honestly, it's a really good problem to have to where I'm looking around and I don't know really what I'm expecting to see from the spring game. Right? No injuries, of course, but
right.
tight end play, yeah, I think your tight ends may catch some passes, but that what it's going to look like in against LSU, and I would doubt you're going to see anything that you'll see against LSU because
Mm,
again you got two teams who played each other, but Florida State is coming in and LSU really for the most part is coming in as two different teams, one and two in transfer portal players and rankings. So you got two different guys or two different teams who all will look completely different. So no, it's not very much I can say about the tight ends except for yeah, I hope they play well. But does that mean they'll be any different? What what will their role be? What will their impact be when it comes to to the fall?
yeah, yeah. I think that's a good point Todd's making about the lack of D end depth. I know I got into a bit of a well. They say I started something on Twitter when I said somebody said something about this the deepest D line and the best D line in the country, and I was like, well, how do we know that?
I'm glad you brought that up. I might have forgot about that. I don't understand why what was crazy about that, right? So I'm gonna let you tell me what you thought was, I guess, asinine about the statement, and
Well,
then
I didn't think it was asinine. I just was curious what was that based on. I was
it was
curious what is
based
it.
on the fact.
Well, what is it based
It's,
on?
it's based on the fact that you brought back a NFL D lineman. You've added Fisk and dude from Miami. Should be pretty again, and you have guys who you expect to take another step on your team. You should, based on class level rankings and player potential, should have one of the deepest defensive lines in the nation.
Well, I mean, define the nation. Like, what are we talking about? You think they're top five
I'm
defensive
talking
line
about
or top
yes,
10?
I would say top five. Georgia, Bama, LSU probably. They usually keep a good D line. But I mean, outside of the usual people who keep good D lines, I would say Florida State is right in there with that group.
Mm.
Michigan,
Yeah, I
Penn
don't know.
State.
I don't know. I mean, against the better offensive lines last year, they got blocked pretty well
I
against
ain't
those
going based
teams.
off of last year.
Well, I
I guess that
mean,
maybe that's why I'm saying, right? I think, and maybe that's what the tweet is about. Last year, you're right. I thought they got pushed around, but that was also why they came back another year.
yeah, but
They
it's not
both
like
went
they
in,
was. It's not like that was a young defensive line last year that got pushed around. They was older. I mean, they guys in their third and fourth year in college,
and I believe they can
and
get
they
better in
going
their
into
fourth and fifth.
they going in their fifth year. I mean, they pretty much up against their ceiling. I think Fisk. I
One,
think Fisk would
one,
be. I think Fisk would be better than Robert Cooper. I
Yes.
do think that. I think Fish would be better than Robert Cooper. I didn't think Robert Cooper was good. Um, I think Peyton is a good player.
Yep.
Where he at when you talk about
Versatile.
nationally, when you talk about where Peyton is nationally, I don't know if he's a top 25 defense in the country.
He also ain't been a starter though. I would think he's more like what Jermaine Johnson was last year. You know what I mean? At Georgia, he made some plays, but he wasn't tops. But he wasn't top. He came to Florida State to
Yeah,
get more exposure.
yeah, I don't see the
I,
same. I don't see the same skill set though. You talking about Jermaine Johnson though?
I'm not talking about skills. I'm talking about just the circumstances. But I
Well,
understand
I'm
what you're saying.
just yeah, but I mean, I'm saying I think Versus really good. I think Versus what a top three round guy. Probably go
Hmm.
in the second round, maybe early third, mid second round guy to me. That don't scream out. You know, Clemson got this year going into the draft a possible two first round picks. Well, one first round pick, a high second round pick guy. That was a top D line in the country last year. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we have that level of guys in this group. You
But
know what
how
I'm
many
saying?
teams? But how many teams have two first rounders? You know what I mean? Yeah, Clemson does, Alabama does. I think Georgia has. But
Ohio
outside of
State
that,
has it.
Ohio State has.
Michigan
I
or
think
Michigan
Michigan
normally
has it as
has.
well.
Michigan has
Yep.
it.
Yep.
I think Pitt have years where they put guys into the draft.
Pitt to put
They
one on a flash. I can't put Pitt
who
in for it. I'm just
I
saying, like I think
mean
their
Pitt
injury stats
does. I mean they
lie
do
to
put
10.
they
They do.
Pitt
They do put
Pitt
the
in
second lineman
Pitt
in.
Pitt and NC State consistently puts top 2 round, top 3 round guys in the draft like every year. Like it's really not even crazy. Like I think
Yeah, no. But you're arguing one
go ahead.
player. Like I'm saying, NC State will have a
No, I mean
flash
they
at
put
10,
two
but NC
guys.
State is
They
10
put Pitt have two guys. They got a whole D line that's going to the NFL this year. They
Okay.
got like 4 guys that's going to the league this year.
This year, you're right. You're right. This year,
They,
yeah,
they
you're right.
do. I mean, they consistently do this every 2 to 3 years. They have a nice little group that come through. Um, I see somebody said Love getting hurt was killing them. Yeah, I mean, but everybody plays for injury, so that's. I mean, every time players come back, they're gonna say they played with injuries last year because everybody plays with injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a part of the game. So, I mean, I think they're gonna be a good. I think they're gonna be a good group. But they got to show me that they can control a football game against a quality opponent. I gotta see them do that. I'm not saying they can't do it.
I can't
I just
argue
saying I
that.
gotta
Yeah,
see them do it.
yeah, I can't
I
argue
can't.
that.
I
I see
can't.
that.
I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying I got to see them do it. That's it. So, when I asking the guy like, based what are we basing it on? You know, I mean, you can name a bunch of players on a roster. Like I always find that funny. Like the fans of a team, like, oh man, we got a deep we got the best wide receiver group. And they start naming everybody on the roster that play wide receiver. I'm like, okay, well you naming a bunch of people. I get that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, I think the D line is going to be a really good group. I'm more excited to see what the offensive line is going to be this year because I think they might be able to actually dictate terms and control the ball, running the
Hmm.
football this year. I'm actually probably more excited about the offensive line I am the defensive line. If I'm being honest,
I'm more
and
excited
that's
about the
one of the
defensive line.
things. And that's one of the things in general that I do want to see during the spring game. I actually want to see the young guys play. I want to see the young
Yeah.
offensive linemen play.
Well, see, that's another reason why I'm not sure. I think you will see a lot of the young guys, right? You know what I mean? Because how much Jordan Travis do we really need to see? How much Benson do we really need to see? How much Toa Philly do we really need to see? How much Johnny do we really need to see? You know what I mean? Like when you get to those offensive
Right.
players, I'm not sure how many of those we want to see.
Right.
Because again, you're talking about a difference in the season. Johnny Wilson gets hurt, Trey Benson gets hurt. You know what I mean? Like again, you don't want to play scared, but at the same
But
time, you know what you got in those groups.
I
Are
think
in
that's
those
what's
players.
fun though. I think that's what's fun because we get to see the young guys. Like I can't wait to see Brock Glenn and see what he looks like up
Yeah,
close.
absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. I can't wait to see Brock Glenn and see has Duffy taken another step? Does he look better than he looked last year? That's those are things I really want to see. I'm not the
I'm
guys that
probably
we know
excited
are
for that.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys that we know that are good. I mean, they're not going to surprise you or anything, but it's the younger guys that's been in the program for a year, 2 years now that you kind of are anxious to see. You know?
Oh no, 100%. I think the young guys are really what I guess this game is about. You know what I mean? This is where you become fan favorites. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, I thought
Mm-hmm.
such and such played a great game, and next thing you know, he's now starting again. Quarterback, you see it more on quarterbacks because they flash a little bit, but we saw it in Jermaine
Mm-hmm.
Johnson too. When like we knew we had an offensive line that wasn't great, but the fact that he
Mm-hmm.
was coming in and like they had to take him out. All right, man, just stop rushing. They can't. Our guys cannot block you. So we knew
Right.
going in, all right, our offensive line is not going to be able to block elite DNs. We already we seen it
Mm-hmm.
with Jermaine Johnson, and now, all right, when he and it translated to the season, right? And so I
Right.
think you will get a chance to see some young guys and say, all right, now he doing all right against some quality opponents. Are you doing all right against the quality? You know what I mean? So I do think from a young person standpoint, it is an opportunity for some guys to make some plays. And now, all right, when it gets to the regular season, you can see we saw that work out in the spring game. And again, I think the biggest spot maybe is at on that defensive line. I think that's where the most shuffle is. I think Fabo is locked in, versus locked in, but every place else is up for grabs.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. The young defensive tackle group is another group like Untavius Woody,
Yeah.
Joshua Former, some of those guys. I am kind of Tuafase, I think his name is Ayo
Uh huh.
Tuafase. I think I'm very interested to see him. You know what I'm saying? So those young D tackles is something that I think is going to be interesting to see. Um, the wide receiver group, like I said, I do want to see Jacobs up close and personal, man, because everybody keeps raving about him, and I am kind of excited to see him. You know,
Big wide receivers are coming back, man. You remember,
yeah,
like
yeah,
it was a lot of big wide receivers, right? Then they got those little quick wide receivers, and the defense always seems to have to adjust to what the offense does. So then
mm-hmm,
everybody started getting big cornerbacks to cover these big wide receivers,
yeah,
and now you know what I mean. And now it looks like those big wide receivers are coming back and becoming more and more teams looking more for those guys. So in my opinion, I am like you said Jacobs, but again, I just think those big wide receivers, man, they've always been big. And when you're bigger, stronger, faster than the guys you're going up against in high school, it can
right,
inflate those numbers. It can inflate how you look. It can change a whole lot when you start playing with guys who have just as much athleticism, who are also just as big as you are, and got 3 or 4 years on you as well. So
right.
I'm interested in seeing how do you how does he transition into the college game, and I
Oh,
don't think anybody
absolutely.
can really. I don't think anybody can really say how well he's going to do with it.
Yeah, yeah. I saw a couple questions here. I'm marking y'all as y'all ask these questions. I'm gonna get to them. Um, Let me ask you this question: somebody brought up the point that they wish they had preseason games or the schools to scrimmage other schools. What do you think about that?
I thought it was whoever suggested it. I thought it was Mike Novell who mentioned it, and I
No,
100%
it
agree
was
with him.
well, Dabo said it, and I know Dion said it also. I
No,
don't know. Norvell might have said it. I think Norvell might have said it too.
yeah, I think it's a really good idea because it now allows you to one cross recruit. Like in other words, let's say Florida State decides, all right, we never play Central Florida. We probably won't meet them in the bowl game or whatever, right? You go out there
Mm-hmm.
and scrimmage against the UCF. That allows you kind of go to Orlando. Orlando will come to you. You get to experience a quality opponent. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But also something different that don't count for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I don't want to say you don't learn nothing from scrimmages, but I do think coaches sometimes miss. You know what I mean? Hey, this guy's is a really good practice player, but this other dude's a gamer. Peyton, I think, was that before he's now flourishing in practice, but you didn't hear much about Peyton. It was just, all of a sudden, hey, I'm watching the games. This dude Peyton keeps, it keeps flashing. So I do think you can miss it sometimes, and if you put a different opponent in front of him, not to mention you learn people's tendencies. If I'm going up against good on good, right, and I go up against whoever it is across from me, I'm gonna start learning what he's doing. You know what I mean? I'm gonna start learning some of the things. So
Right.
mixing it up and being able to study or have an opponent at least for a week, just going back and forth with somebody different who may challenge you, you can really get some, I think, strengths and weaknesses. Because let's say there's a great wide receiver who plays for whoever you decide to scrimmage against, going up against one of your, you can switch him out. All right, let's put him on this corner. Let's see how he handles it and see
Right.
who can rise to the occasion versus I kind of know what's going on with these guys. You know, I know what I got with this guy. I know what I got with this guy because I've seen him go up against. So, in my opinion, I think it's a very very good idea. I just not sure if logistically they can make it happen.
Well, I think we get to a place where I think we'll start getting it. Especially if the big Power Five schools actually break away from these little schools, it'd be a good way to give them money games. You know what I'm saying? If you do like a preseason money game for them,
Hmm.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
So you talking about like
So
maybe South Florida? You talking about like maybe like so not UCF?
like
UCF ain't gonna take a money game, but like South
nah,
Florida,
it'd be
FAU.
like a South Florida FAU, maybe like a FAMU, like because like
Yeah.
something with FAMU would be pretty cool if you did like a 2 quarter 11-on-11,
Hmm.
or you did a situation 11-on-11, and then you did a 7-on-7
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
to work on your passing game at the end.
Yeah.
Something like kind of like a control, something to control it where you don't want your D line beating up on the offensive line and quarterbacks and stuff, but something really controlled where you just kind of like
Yeah.
work on your
Quarterbacks off
stuff.
limit. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it really
So I
is a
think it
spring game, but it's a spring game against another opponent. I also think you
right.
can sell it, and that's why I think you might be able to. If you tell Florida State and UCF in a scrimmage, you're gonna get those people from Orlando, and you get the people from Tallahassee, and you get the folks from
Hmm.
all over because it's an actual game. Especially if you do it right, you know what I mean.
Right.
Then you can really market it and sell it, against like I say, big school against small school. It is their play game. It's their pay game, which now allows you to kind of maybe schedule, like you said, an LSU first game or some another quality opponent first game of the season, as opposed to having to play some of these cupcakes down the line or what they call, paycheck games. Get that paycheck game out of the way in the
Right. Right.
preseason. We would have known when
Yeah.
Middle Tennessee State blew out Miami, and that Miami wasn't going to be very good when they did when at the
Right.
spring game. We'd have known Miami ain't got it this year, y'all. Miami ain't got it this year.
Yeah.
They Middle Tennessee State
Absolutely.
still scoring on them boards. You know what I mean? So I do think you can learn a lot about your team in the spring game
Hold
like
on,
that.
man. We got Rob O. We got Rob O on the show. Rob O. Hey, don't forget what you said about my Jaguars. Don't forget what you said about my Jags, because you throwing some salt in the comments on my Jags. Just saying, we here to stay. Just saying.
No, we got a
Nah,
quarterback. We
but
good.
yeah, we good. They need to do better with team building. I think me and Will were talking about this, and
You and
we don't
Wig
like
be
the.
y'all be so worried, man. Y'all be
I'm
so
alarmist.
worried.
It's
I know
funny
that.
because we was talking on the phone. He said, you know what, Sam? You know what I realized about you? I was like, what? He like, you're not a troll. You just alarmist. You just every little thing that don't go right, that shit is like it alarms you. I'm like, yeah, we. I say because I'm used to my teams peaking, and then they go right back down into the shitter, and that shit be bothering me. so,
Right.
so I told
No,
him I'm
we
always
want
looking
our
for the
teams to
tipping
have
point.
consistency. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we
I
don't we
told him
don't
I'm
have like,
always.
well, yeah.
Yeah, I told him I said we haven't been dominant. I haven't rooted for a team that's just been dominant up to the top, just dominating. You know what I'm saying? But I say it's like they peak, then they just kind of crash back down. So I say I am an alarmist. It's true. I'm an alarmist. I am.
I,
That's how I
when
fan.
y'all I be watching y'all go back and forth. I be like, hey, like somebody got to know what they're doing. Like I know everybody don't. I know everybody. Everybody can't be dumb over there. Like they have gotten to their profession. So I'm gonna just trust what they got to do. If it don't work, see, I'm the opposite. I'm gonna give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and then I'll
Right.
complain. I'll complain
Right.
at the end of it. You'll be like, I've been
Right.
here. I was here in the off season when they pitched the game. They ain't had no business. See, that's you. You know what I'm saying? You go tell them. You
Yeah, I'm
go tell them.
already.
I knew when they made that decision that this was gonna go bad for them. So now when it go bad, you already here. You ain't no emotion. I'm up in arms like, yeah, they believe they would. You know what I mean? It's just it's the dichotomy of me and you, man. We just on
I'm not
different end
gonna,
of the
cause
spectrum.
I ain't gonna lie. When I see the Jaguars draft Taven Bryant and not take Lamar Jackson, I say we fucked. So that's it. We fucked.
I said,
Fucked.
we riding with Blaine Gabbert. Oh
Yeah.
man, we
No,
don't know
that
what
was
we done
Blake. That
got.
was Blake that year.
That was
That was
Blake. That's
Blake.
right. That
Remember?
was Blake
Yeah.
Borders. Lord have mercy. That was
Mm,
another beat. Yeah, Blake.
yeah.
God. Oh, I said we're gonna roll with Blake. I just saw Blake at the bar the other day. Man, Blake was just at the beach with us. He don't seem focused at all. But all right, let's roll with Blake.
Yeah,
He's up there
man.
winning MVPs. But nah, listen, hold on. You highlighted one of us. Say I'm watching Miami spring game. Knows by 35. We can say that same thing for Florida too. Let's go. I mean, we can go ahead and say that same thing for Florida, man. With Florida, and Miami, do not. It's gonna be a rough one. Y'all ain't winning this year.
The
It'll
the
have to be a
only
lot of stuff to
saving
go real wrong with Florida State.
the only saving grace for Florida is that before they fire Billy, they're gonna fire the athletic director. He's done. Like you don't get to hire three coaches. Like so
Oh,
that
I was
is
like,
his
what
saving.
is the saving?
Yeah,
What is the
that's his
saving
saving
grace? Because
grace.
right now
He's gonna
it's
get
dumb.
he's gonna get that one extra year because they're gonna fire the AD first. Like that's you don't get to
You
hire
think
three
new AD
coaches.
keeping Billy? You think? Hold on.
No,
So you
no,
think
but
new
I'm
AD
saying
keeping Billy?
he's gonna get that extra year to prove he gonna get that. Cause think about it, when are they gonna fire the new
If I'm new,
AD?
I don't know, but if I'm new AD, Billy got to go day one. Like first, hey, the terms of me accepting this job is that I get rid of Billy, who just
Right.
again, you can't tell your quarterback who you've been riding with this whole time at the end of the spring game. Nah, we definitely bringing another quarterback. Like he didn't have much confidence. He wasn't very good, and now he knows you trying to recruit over top of him. Like if you don't find nobody, which again, all the good quarterbacks is gone, so you're not gonna find nobody. So he ain't gonna find nobody, and now you got to roll out here with this quarterback with no confidence, who just knew you was gonna replace him. Billy has no clue what the fuck is going on over there, and I
I think
love
he
him.
knows what's going on. I think he knows what's going on. I just don't think he don't have a quarterback, bro. But you know what? What's very troublesome to me about Billy is that the plan they have for Anthony Richardson last year is that's what's gonna bite him in the ass because you probably should have won 9 games. If you try to tell me you had a top 10 pick, which I don't think he's a top 10 pick, but if the NFL thinks he's a top 10 pick and you only won 6 games with that kid, you're gonna have some real problems because you should have won 9 with him. Because then if you win 9 with him, at least when you come this year and win 6 or 5, which that's what you're looking
You
like,
lost Anthony Richardson. Yeah.
you be like, hey, well, you lost a top 10 pick. They hard to replace.
Mm-hmm.
But if you lose a top 10 pick, you lost. You can't go back to back six win seasons at Florida. It's just no way you survive.
Dog, he went. First of all, I don't, and I agree with you. I've been very clear on what I feel about Anthony Richardson. I don't believe the kid can throw, and I don't understand how quarterbacks who can't throw keep getting drafted. At some point, we
Right.
got to look like y'all looking at that arm strength and him. He did so great, this and that. And he did a backflip every time, which is also stupid. You got to stop doing that, Anthony. I don't know if somehow this makes it to you. Stop doing no goddamn backflips. Like, stop it. Like you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna tear your knee like doing these backflips, and it's not gonna be funny no more because they're gonna be like, "Why are you doing these backflips?" Anyway, I'm just saying, like it's dumb as a quarterback who's trying to get drafted to just be out here just cartwheeling and shit. But anyway,
Right.
what
Right.
I'm saying is, I don't think Anthony Richardson is very good. I don't.
Yeah.
And but the NFL believes he's a top 5 pick. So that means that Billy had a top 5 quarterback, and he was only able to squeak out them wins.
Yeah, that's the problem.
My man, my man,
That's the
you
problem.
you not very good. That's just not good. You got to get at least, I mean minimum 8. Yeah,
Yeah.
minimum at minimum 8 wins. Vandy should never be close to beating you. You know what I mean? And they actually
Hmm.
beat you. It's problems over there.
Yeah, it's issues. It's issues in Gainesville and Stanksville. But let me get to if y'all got questions, just drop them in the chat. I'm gonna start getting to these questions in a minute. Um, the defensive backs. Let's go there. Um,
All right.
how do you think the nickel position shakes out, and how do you think the safety position shakes out? It does seem like, from what I heard, there's a little concern about the safety position. They didn't like the way the safeties was playing. So, how do you feel about that?
Well, again, it was. Remember, I said there was a couple matchups that I was interested in seeing. That is one of them. I don't know. Um, I I'll see because it's been inconsistent at that position, right? Like nobody who's what Greedy Vance up and down. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I I don't know. Like and that's one of the positions I'm intrigued about. The other one is the defensive line, just to kind of see where everybody shakes out. But I honestly have no idea. I believe Greedy will take the nickel, but I can't call it. Like
Yeah,
it's one of the positions where I think there's a lot of talent there. It's
Mhm.
just they all when they get game time, man, it's so much inconsistency when we've seen, from what we've seen, to where I don't feel comfortable saying anybody's gonna, take the position over. Even if let's say they start the season with Greedy, is Greedy gonna finish it?
Right.
What you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Cool. You do I mean what is how do these guys make it throughout the season? Because again, the guys who were flashes last spring, and that's why I say I'm not concerned about, because the people who we were told were great last spring, we didn't see none last season.
Right. That normally
And
happens.
right, and so that's what I'm saying. Like I honestly have no idea. We'll find out as the season goes on who's playing well, but I don't think you'll find out very much from the spring game, because again, the wide receivers who flashed and we were told were great didn't play last season, never saw the field. People who we told were going to have an amazing seasons absolutely struggled. So I honestly have no idea. I mean, who do you feel?
I think they might need a. I think they might need a little bit more secondary help. They might need to go in the portal and find somebody else, just for
Mhm.
depth, depth purposes. I think Greedy. They said Greedy was playing pretty good early on, so I think he's gonna be fine. I think behind Greedy, you might need a little help. Behind him. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
I
I'm saying I
I,
don't.
I do find it interesting because you got Cypress on one end, you got
Mhm.
Green you got to put somewhere, and you got to put
Mhm.
AZ Thomas somewhere, and then you got Greedy. So I think those are your best four. So you know, maybe if somebody can, maybe if Green got the quickness and the lateral movement and everything that you need, maybe he can do a little time at nickel
Take him out
with.
7.
Yeah, you got Jerry Jones too, which he kind of plays a lot better on the outside too. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Thomas still ain't Jalen's funny. Um, all I'm saying is it's really a lot. It's a lot of question marks. There's
Who
no
is Thomas?
periods. I believe he's talking about AZ.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was saying that they remember they were comparing AZ
Oh
to
yeah,
Jalen
yeah,
Daniels.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
I
that's
was
what they were
telling
saying.
people, to hold
Yeah, we
off
was
on the comparison. I was like, whoa.
we both was yelling it. He's not that. Like he's not. He's not. Like
It's
you
just not
you
a lot
know
of
what
those. It's not a lot of
it's
those though.
it's
They
not a
only
lot of
come
those.
like every 4 or 5 years. You get that
And
type
when
of
they hit the
player.
campus,
Yeah.
everybody know who, like, that they him. Like it's immediate. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
nobody questions it. It's he him, and everybody moves on and proceeds to, yeah, no, AZ ain't him.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I mean, it's a whole lot of, in my opinion, question marks, and I don't know where it's gonna fall. And like you said, who knows who might hit the portal. I think you'll see it at a lot of good schools. Some players looking around and saying, I ain't just getting much playing time, and I might have been a 4-star, whatever it is. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
had Florida State on my list, and they was ass back in the day, but I can see them going now, which is a lot. Again, we've seen players say that now. I had Florida State on my list. I actually liked it better school, but the program was headed in the wrong direction. So I do think it's possible you might be able to even upgrade that position after the spring. But I'm not sure you have very much. Again, a lot of talent, a whole lot of talent. All of those guys were highly recruited.
Mm-hmm.
Just none of them have proven it on the field yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do think it's gonna be an upgrade with the coaching.
Coaching is a
So
big factor. Yep.
yeah, I think the coaching and we'll get it better with coaching. I think they'll be fine. I'm excited for the defense because I think they got a chance to actually be good this year. Um, they won't have a lack of players. They got players now, so they got enough players to be good enough. So um, I'm really hoping the defense take a whole nother step. With the schedule, they play a pretty easy schedule, I think. So it shouldn't be a lot of teams lighting this defense up.
Let me ask you: do you think they have a potential to be like a great defense? And when I say great, I mean, yeah, great is relative in college football now, because I mean, great defense
Yeah,
is getting 35 rolled on them. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I'm saying, like, do you think this has potential to be top 10, top 15 ish defense?
I mean, with the teams they play on the schedule, I don't see a lot of teams that can hang a bunch of numbers on you. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think Clemson, LSU. I mean, we know Florida ain't gonna be much of anything. Miami probably not. I mean, other Pitt maybe, but Pitt runs the ball a lot, so I just don't really see a lot of you know. I don't see a lot of teams that's gonna really scare you. I don't see a lot of teams that go to schedule defensively. So you should be pretty well, and you're gonna play with leads, right? You're gonna play in front a lot, so you should be able to get to the quarterback. So I think it should be fine, personally.
I agree. I agree. I think, like you said, I think it sets up for the defense to actually fall into top 10 defense, like you said, just
Right,
because the quarterbacks who gave us trouble gone. You know what I mean?
right,
Mertz ain't gonna kill you. Nobody who Miami's rolling out gonna kill you. Um, Clemson, no,
right.
Clemson. You know what I mean? Like that. That's really the only quarterback who you look around. I mean, LSU, Jaden Daniels, but he's even more of a running, by opinion, than the throwing threat. Um, and you've seen him last year as well, so you have an opportunity. I'm not sure that there's any quarterback who I can see or team that I can see offensively that Florida State should not have an advantage over. And like you said, offensively, there aren't any weaknesses. Could be wrong.
Yeah,
It don't appear to be any weaknesses. You know what I mean? Like you said, I think the offensive line is improved, wide receivers are improved, running backs are improved, quarterback is a Heisman Trophy candidate. Like at this point, you can't ask for any more. So if they telling me our team playing by leads with two very one really good pass rusher and one who we believe will be a really good pass rusher and defensive ends, it should
hmm
make for a lot of pin your ears back and get to the football. You know what I mean?
absolutely, absolutely. So that should be.
Yeah,
I think their job gonna be a lot easier this year. To be honest with you.
I do too.
Yeah, I think the job be a lot easier. Let me get some of these questions so we can get out of here. I think we had 36 minutes, so we can get out of here about 40. How
Yeah.
many commits do you think we get after the spring game? You know, man, the last couple of years I always put a number on it, and we never get anybody. So this year, no, we haven't. But
You
they did.
right.
They
You'll be
did.
hyper. Yeah, you'll be
Yeah,
hyper.
I mean, the last couple of years we put a number. We was like, we get at least 4 or 3. But
We had huge recruiting groups out there.
yeah,
We ain't
so
talking
I
about
do
much.
think they got one the other day ago from Miami. The kid from Dade.
Lil
They got
Wayne,
a
man.
yeah, they got a wide receiver from Dade, wide receiver slash safety from Dade. So that's one. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna put the number at 2. I think they get 2 more,
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna so three. So three total.
3 altogether.
Yeah, I was gonna say three as well. I was gonna add. Yeah, I was gonna say three. I think they got one right now. I would add one more. I think they're gonna add one almost immediately after the spring game or tomorrow morning, and then they'll get one like maybe later on in the week. Yeah, they get one like later on in the week or the week after. So yeah, in my opinion, I think I think they get three. They get three.
Yeah, 3. Do you still think they recruit? You think they bring a top 10 class in?
I'm even more on. I'm doubling down. I mean, if this season turns out the way this season we expect this season to turn out, and it
Mm-hmm.
turns out the way that they've been recruiting so far, it it is starting to look like winning again. Now they've done a lot of off season, so I don't want to discount what I mean off the field stuff. So they've done a lot of off the field. It's been a lot of changes. It's been a lot of focus in recruiting, and they've added a new coach. But Dugans looks like he cares about recruiting again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just looks like he's engaged. He's good recruiting group last after fumbling the bag 2 years ago, or was it 3 years ago? After
Mm-hmm.
fumbling the bag and losing out on it, didn't get a single wide receiver commit. He appears to be getting commits. We'll see how they close. So, in my opinion, I think the thing that has hurt Florida State in the past is we got all these good recruits,
Mm-hmm.
and then the product on the field will start looking real bad. And then next, we start hearing shaky this and shaky that. And so, in my opinion, I think if Florida State they go out there and beat LSU, I feel like they're pretty much so for at least the next 4 weeks or so, they probably gonna end up in it. Well, 3 weeks and then before they play Clemson, they're gonna end up in the top 5 or whatever. That's a good place to be. Even if let's say they lose to Clemson, you still in top 10. You,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, where they'll live at and be a part of the conversation all season should allow them to hold together a class that is looking like they're going to be in for a lot of guys who, quite frankly, they ain't been in the rooms with. And not to mention they're getting players. We were hitting at the 3 stars and the no stars. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like we were getting guys who every time they committed, we was like, where did they come from? Who is this dude? You know what I mean? Who
Right.
is this other offers? So now pulling kids back out of Miami again. Well, the first
Hmm.
sign, in my opinion, of things turning around is when the Miami kids be like, "Whoo, we glad Florida State good again, boy. We was trying to get out of Miami. We've been dying to get out
Right.
of Miami. Thank you, Florida State, for being good because we've
Hmm.
been dying to get out of the 305. And so now to see, start pulling kids again from Miami, all good signs. Yeah, I do believe Florida State is going to finish with a top 10 class. I'm going to say with the asterisk of if they finish this season, ranked in the top 10. I mean, championship, I'm going to guarantee it. They play in the championship, I'm guaranteed. They play in the Final Four, I'm a guarantee they're gonna finish with top 10 class. But if they finish with a top 10 in the top 10 at the end of the season, they got one, maybe two losses, playing a New Year's Six Bowl. I believe Florida State finishes with the top 10 class.
I'm gonna put them just outside at about 12 or 13.
You realize that's what you had them last time, right?
Yeah, I had a lot of hope last time too. I
No.
did.
I'm saying like last episode. Like
Oh, I did.
ain't nothing makes you feel like they've improved in any and you know what I mean? They've added another recruit since then. They've gotten again everybody they've wanted on campus. All the big names is on campus from again, we're not a recruiting
Yeah.
podcast, so I'm not naming off, such and such and such. I don't know, but
Yeah.
based on the people who do this and I listen to them, they're getting anybody they want on campus for multiple days.
Yeah.
They haven't had a guy like Miami say, "I ain't never coming back here again." Y'all ain't got to worry about it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that was another thing. I know you kind of got in some hot water about feeling like our tweets don't affect the players.
It don't.
No man, that kid say he tired of y'all. He ain't never coming back to Miami because of the fans.
That kid wasn't never going there anyway. Now he just not gonna visit, saving them money.
Right, right, exactly right. That boy was never
Yeah,
coming down. Yeah,
kid
he
wasn't
was
never
never
coming.
coming. You weren't getting him. Y'all just was like, well, good. This made it easy for me. I ain't got to never come back here. I ain't going to go to
Yeah,
Miami no way.
yeah, he wasn't coming no way. I mean, come on, man. I mean, he had a chance to be coached by Brian Hartline, who's like literally has an NFL factory of first round wide receivers that go every single year. I think he's going to Ohio State, bro. That's, I mean,
If you're a wide receiver from anywhere in the world,
if
Ohio State is probably going to be number one on that
if if
list. They
if
just ain't
Hartline
running
wants
route.
you, if Hartline wants you, you're probably going to go coach, be coached up on the Hartline, bro. Like it's what it is. So,
They
you know,
yeah they it's the same thing Wisconsin for linemen. You know what I mean? Like you get certain schools.
or
You got
Iowa, or Iowa for linemen.
Iowa,
Yeah,
Iowa for linemen. Yeah. I mean, just certain schools. They gon' you got to go there. So if you're a wide
yeah,
receiver, you're not. Again, why in the world would you go to Miami with again? Who's the quarterback who's gonna be throwing them footballs?
yeah. Yeah,
So
nobody knows. But you got one question. Somebody said NFL question. I'm Colts. I'm trading that fourth overall for Lamar. No questions. Yeah, I mean y'all don't brought every bad quarterback y'all could possibly get in there. Like y'all brought Carson Wentz, Phillip
ooh,
Rivers.
mm,
I mean, man, this whole Lamar thing don't got so weird in the NFL because a lot of these teams should definitely be trading for him.
you gonna tell the truth or not?
What? What's the truth?
All right, all right. I was just trying to see if we were gonna tell the truth about what's happening with Lamar now.
Yeah. What's going on with Lamar?
Nothing, man. He ain't got no agent. That's why he don't got no team.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons why he ain't got a team. But I mean, that's a part of it. It's a part
What's the
of
other
it.
reason?
I don't think the NFL like the fact these quarterbacks want to move markets. I don't think they like that.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think they like the fact that a quarterback could stand up like Deshaun Watson did. They made Deshaun Watson sit out for 2 years before he played football because he said he signed that contract like, oh, I don't want to play here no more. I don't think they want the NFL quarterbacks to
To be
move
like
like
the NBA.
to be like the NBA. I really believe deep down inside that's what it is.
Okay.
That's what I believe.
All
I
right.
think yeah, that's what I believe. Now I do believe he had an agent, he could get movement. I really do believe that.
Lamar Jackson is an MVP quarterback, right?
Yeah.
All right. When MVP quarterbacks hit the market, do they have any? Do they have? Let me ask. Do they have GMs lining up to say, "Nah, I ain't taking him"? Like
Nah.
it's a
Nah.
lot. It's been more teams come out to say, "Nah, I ain't taking him," than have come out to be like, "Yo, like." It's some bad teams, but like it's some real bad teams with some real bad quarterbacks who ain't like, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
beating down the door to get Lamar Jackson. And I'm saying that is real funny. Forget the agent, forget anything, forget all the whatever happens in the NFL. I'm saying there is a NFL MVP quarterback on the market, or who has
Right.
requested that he ready to go. I don't like my team no more. And what's crazy is his current team don't want him.
Well, they're gonna take him. He's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a Raven at the end of the day. He'll
But
be a
they
Raven.
I know he will be a Raven, but not because the Ravens have been like, yeah, we're gonna get him. I'm saying it should not have taken this for an NFL MVP quarterback to have gotten his money, to have had a contract, and in my opinion, it looks away, it feels funny, and it's real uncomfortable. I know I agree with you when it comes to yes, he don't have an agent, and that does present some problem. Yes, when he has to put out his own tweets to explain what's going on, yeah, that's a problem. He needs to hire some sort of representation to help him out. Yeah, he's been injured or whatever because of his style of football, but he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, and I'm saying there's 32 teams in the NFL. If he's a top 10 quarterback and he hits the streets, I would expect the other 32 teams to line up. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, unless again, if you don't have the top one and two, three pick, you ain't getting Anthony Richardson or one of the other guys.
Right.
Like I'm not sure what are you doing. Like what's the hesitation for the Atlanta Falcons owner to come out and you know what I mean and say nah I don't want them? Why? Who you getting? Did I miss it?
Right. Right.
Who you got? You know what I mean? Other again, if I'm the Colts, easy. What
Yeah.
am I gonna get? What am I getting? I'm not betting the number 4 pick. Oh, I know what this dude can do. I've seen
Yeah.
it. So in my opinion, I just think it looks funny and it feels away. Um, because there's zero reason for Lamar Jackson to literally have to go back to a place where they basically said, I mean, you can take it or leave it, we don't care. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For NFL MVP top 10 quarterback in the league, I, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to believe. Now again, the Colts take him, then I, go good. Thank you. I recreate everything. Maybe that's what we waiting on. But if he go through this draft and ain't nobody have offered him, you know what I mean, and he end up back with the Ravens, which I agree with you. I think that's where he ends up.
Right.
It's in my opinion, it's unprecedented.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I think it ends up there. But anyway, man, that was a great show. I appreciate all you guys coming through. Make sure you subscribe,
Mm-hmm.
like, hit some like buttons on our pod. We appreciate you guys. You got anything else, Brandon?
No, man, we'll be on after after the spring game. Talk about what we saw, what we liked and what we didn't like, and I don't think it'll be much because again, like I said, I'm not taking very much out of it. But we'll see what some what's who flashes, some storylines. There's always something from the spring game. But no, man, yeah, I'm with you, man. We'll see.
All right. We out.
We out.